Hey, what's up? It's your boy. What's going on? Thank you for watching. Thank you for logging on. Thank you for listening. However you listen to this, I appreciate it. Thank you for your support. While I have your attention, don't forget to subscribe, to download. Make sure you like. Let's get this word out. We are growing, and I want us to continue to grow. So thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I have been graced to do countless hours of premarital and postmarital counseling, numerous weddings over the past couple years. And one of the things I'm committed to, and God has given me the grace to, is to help folks have healthy relationships, not just marriages, but dating. You know, a lot of what you're experiencing in marriage was evident in your dating years. So I am graced and have the anointing to do that. And I want to use this opportunity to share with you red flags. Red flags is something that we hear about, but we hear about and we hear so often, and maybe a tad bit overused, but I want to use this moment to share the red flags we find in Christian dating. Red flags that are evident in Christian dating. So it's tricky. It's tricky because first we wonder, should folks even date? Like, that is a question that a lot of us have to answer. I think you should date. I think you should date with boundaries. I think you should find out what's out there. You know, growing up, again, I've been married it's going to be 12 years. Right, this year, 2013, right? Yeah, 2023, yeah. 12 years in May. And one of the things I've come to grips with, and as at the risk of sounding old, is that dating in 2023 is nowhere near what we experienced in 2011. There's a lot more influences, a lot more things out there. People are exposed to a lot more. So I understand it's a little bit different. So it's definitely cool. But I do think that a lot of the same principles should occur. The one principle that I want to stand on, this is a hill I will die on: you must date with purpose. Christians should not casually date. Well, I'm bored, he pays my cell phone bill type of nonsense. Casual dating is not for Christians. That's dangerous, because what are you going to end up filling your time with? Like, your time is so valuable. So why would I date a chick, date a dude for the hell of it? Hey, because I'm bored, because it's summertime. That's where you end up slipping up and messing up and doing different type of things. But I believe that you should date on purpose. I believe as a believer that you should say, I'm dating towards marriage. I'm also, so with that being said, yes, date with boundaries and expectations. It's tough nowadays to find someone who's really marriage material, but he or she, what's the alternative? You're not going to say single. I mean, unless God has called you to be single by yourself and you don't want to be single forever, you have to find a way to find that person. And you got to put yourself out there. You got to make sure your wig is tight. Make sure, fellas, that you got your six pack. Make sure your things in order. You know what I mean? And things are together for you. And if you're going to be dating, this whole old school gospel, like, yeah, just say at the feet of the Lord and God will send your husband, that has happened, but it's not the norm. It's also, you're gonna go out, look decent every single time you leave the house. You're gonna look decent, and just because you never know, God is not gonna always send your man of God to church. You may catch him at the mall. You may meet him at school or at Wawa. So make sure that you have that standard. But I have a couple of, so now that we've established the fact that Christians should be dating, I want to share a couple of red flags. I want to share a couple of red flags that if these things are evident, you need to be careful and you need to make sure that you listen to. First one, he has no prayer life. If he or she does not have a prayer life, they are not for you. Not this John. Like this John, folks use. I love like, yo, shorty, yo, baby, You are the one I've been praying for. You are my answered prayer. You are the one that the Lord has sent for me. So I'm going to pray for our relationship. I'm going to pray to cover us and making sure that we do God's purpose. 9 times out of 10, that is game. I'm not talking about those prayers. I'm not saying that you shouldn't cover your relationship. I'm not saying that you should not be at a place where you guys pray together. But I'm also saying that the person must have their own prayer life. Let me tell you what happens out there. Can I share some game? Do you know what a lot of these guys and girls do? They sit there and just scroll on your social media. They take notes as to what you're looking for and try to replicate that. Oh, she posts verses. She goes to church. All right, let me bring my church game in. So a lot of the things that they're sharing just cap. It's just cap. So you're sitting there just thinking it's the word of the Lord. Nah, it's just a game. He just saw your story like, yo, she's this. I bang bang bing. Let me do this in order to keep her. That's all it is. So I think you have to be aware that a lot of it is cap, and maybe a little bit of I'm being pessimistic, but it's true. So when I say a lack of prayer, he or she must have their own prayer life. They should be fasting on their own. They should be seeking the Lord on their own, because above all, they got to make sure that they're good. If I love you that much and I'm ready to be a husband or a wife, I need to make sure my life is right. So I need to seek and communicate with the Lord. So you cannot ignore, you cannot doubt the importance of having a prayer life. Because again, just because they're in church, don't mean that they're a Christian. And you have to be equally yoked. Christians need to date Christians. You cannot, no more, listen, I know she is not the right person, but I'm going to sit here and save her for Jesus Christ. What if God has called me and ordained me to bring him to God? Nah, you can barely bring yourself to God. Why are you saying trying to bring someone else to God? Nah, you have to make sure the person has their own prayer life. Make sure he or she are at a place where they are focused on God for themselves. Too much of this game that we're falling to. So if they have no prayer life, if you don't observe them in the prayer life, then that's an issue. Number two, they have no home church. I'm not referring to those that are in transition, where they're leaving a church, where they're trying to find a church. But there are a lot of people who are claiming to be Christians but have no covering. Because what ends up happening is, once this relationship gets to the next level, I should be able to bring him or bring her to my pastor. I should feel comfortable bringing him or her to my church. And when I go to that church, the elders should tell me about this person. It shouldn't be, oh yeah, I'm going to church today. Do you want to come with me? And then when you go to church, like, oh, so and so, I haven't seen you in months. You still go here? Like, they need to have their own personal walk. We got to be careful that we believe. I was joking a little while ago, but I was also dead serious. We got to believe that a person must have their personal walk before they met us. Like, we are not Jesus here to save people. We are here to God can use us to bring folks to him. But I think they must have their personal walk outside of you. And a lot of people are clinging to the fact that this person is getting to know God because of them, but that's dangerous. Because in actuality, in reality, in all likelihood, they're going to cause you to compromise and fall. They're going to cause you to stop serving God. So you want to find somebody that has his or her personal walk with God. They have a home church. They have a covering. I can go to her pastor and he could tell me about her. Oh, she's a great person. She's a sweet soul. She's been serving for a long time. She's a faithful member. These are the things you have to find out. So they need to have their personal walk with God. So they need a prayer life. And number two, they need to have their own personal church, which is important, because that refers to having that personal walk. Again, some folks are looking for churches. They may join your church, but they must have some this whole I believe in God but don't believe in church nonsense. Run away, because it's dangerous. Third thing, and this is a bit controversial, they must have their finances in order. Not saying they must be rich, not saying they must have X amount of money, but they must have a financial plan. They have credit card debt. They're working towards getting rid of that credit card debt. They manage money well. Their cell phone is not being cut off. They are tithers. They give God 10% of their income. These things are crucial because it reflects, it gives us a indicator of how they're going to manage the home. And it gives them an indicator of their level of self-control and discipline. And you don't want to date someone that has no discipline. You don't want to date someone that lacks self-control. You don't want to date someone that has no vision or a plan. And how they manage their finances helps indicate their vision and their plan. Not saying they have everything together, not saying that they don't have debt, but they must have a plan. Like, hey, you know what? My credit sucks right now, but I'm going to work on doing things better. Listen, if you want to think about credit, my bills are always paid. I'm always able to pay for a meal. I'm not sitting like, yo, babe, can you Zelle me a couple of dollars in order for us to pay for food? Or baby, I want to eat, but you gotta treat this. You gotta treat this time. You get broke. Money is not unlimited, but you also must be a proper steward. And the most important aspect of that, and why we look at finances, because they got to be a tither. Because if they are not a tither, the curses that fall on them will affect you as well. If they're not tithing and they experiences the curses of that, and you want to marry this person, the same curses will transfer into your finances, because then your finances become one. So you don't just marry a person, you marry their curses. You marry their demons. So you have to be able to be aware of how they manage money. It is far greater than how much they make, because a millionaire today could be broke by next week if they don't manage their money properly. If they're not wise in how they give money. Sometimes you got to say no to certain business deals. Sometimes somebody's going to offer you opportunity to be like, nah, I'm not going to do that, because you know what? I want to save my money. I want to make sure I have a plan. I'm trying to pay for a wedding. You know what I mean? So you have to get to that place where you make sure the person that you're with, guys and girls, it's not just a guy's job. A female, guys, if you're dating a female, make sure that her finances are together. Her money is proper, that she's not impulsive, that she's a tither as well. Because again, any curses, just like debt, once you get married and their debt becomes our debt, their curses become our curses. So you want to make sure that they're properly managing money, because that's an indicator of how they manage their lives. Finances, if you want to know what a person cares about most, look at their bank account. Whatever they put most money towards is an indicator of what's most important to them. So how they are managing their finances is important. I'm not saying, give me a bank statement, but there has to be a plan that you guys sit down together and you guys have a plan and you're able to articulate what the plan is. So, and you also just certain things that you notice that you don't notice, like, hey, dang, I tried to call him and they said the phone is not currently connected. Like, this happened 3 straight months. Like, what's going on? Like, is he not making enough money? Is he not managing his money? Is it too much on his plate? Like, what's going on? So I think it's important to have those discussions, but don't be shallow. Don't be shallow and be like, oh, how much you make? Oh, if you make less than X amount of money, I'm not going to date you. Meanwhile, you're making $15 an hour. And it's not knocking that, but whatever you expect, you must also be able to bring to the table. Whatever demands you want to put on the other person, you must be able to bring the same to the table. And again, unfortunately, and I hate to say that because I'm a man's man, this is now something that's on both sides. of the table, where we see guys sitting here being supported by women, and you say you better be a nurse, better be a doctor, better finish school because you got to take care of me. That's crazy, bro. To me, hearing stuff like that, I'm a man's man. Guys are providers. So you got to be able to provide for your family. Whatever she brings is extra. And there's going to be seasons where she's going to do more financially, and that's cool. But you can't come in and say, you better make X amount of money because you got to support me as a guy, bro. That's madness, bro. I can't believe those words are coming out of my mouth. But I think, a lot of times we sit there and put these expectations, and I should be able to uphold my side of the bargain as well. What I expect you to bring to the table, I should also be able to bring to the table, because sometimes I might need help. Like, for example, I've been looking for consistent full-time work for almost 2 years. And my wifey has been holding the fort down tremendously. She's helped, she supports, she's filled in, she does extra, and it kills me to see her do all this extra because, again, I'm a guy's guy, but this season that I'm in, God has sat me down for a reason. I when I walked out of my job, I did not expect this to happen. But I also, realize that it's something that God has called me to do for a reason, and I did it prayerfully. So I've learned a lot. I spent a lot of time with my kids. I learned a lot about my church. I have more time to be a pastor. Maybe God is forcibly trying to take me into full-time ministry. I don't know. I don't know what the Lord is doing, but I'm grateful for it. So things are seasonal. So sometimes I'm making $1 million today, but life happens where I get hurt or whatever, and I can't make it for a season. You should be able to hold things down and make sure that these things are crucial. Number 4, he or she has no vision. You must date a person that has vision, that says, this is what's going to happen for us. This is what I want for my husband. This is what I want for my wife. This is what I want for our children. Here's where I'm going to be. Because you should also realize that who you are today should not be the same person you are 5 years from now. So you should have vision. You should have not only a vision, but a plan. You see, a vision without a plan is a fairy tale. A vision without a plan is a dream. So what is your plan to be able to get that vision to come to pass? It's not, I got a vision, God's going to do it. No. God will help you out. God may help fund the vision, but you got to work it out. You know what I'm saying? Don't be lazy. So they must have a vision. They must have a plan as to how that is going to come to pass. So you don't want to date someone that's blind and without any form of vision. I think that's very dangerous, and it will harm your marriage and impair your relationship. So I wanted to point that out. So they gotta have a vision, and we alluded to that as well when it comes to finances. It's important to see that these people have vision and finances, and have a plan, even for your relationship. What's the plan? We're not going to be dating for 16 years. We're not, what's the plan? What's the plan? Honestly, I don't think folks should date too long, but I think, that it's whatever works for you. Kind of weddings are not cheap. You got things you got to work out, but I think it's crucial for you to have that. And lastly, they must have maturity. A person that has you cannot marry an immature person. You may be able to date a person who's immature, but you better not marry a person that's immature. And then there should be a time limit. We're dating potential for too long, saying, I know he has this in him. I know she has this in her. Now you have, at some point, that potential must bear fruit, must come to pass. You can't have potential for 27 years. It has to be a moment in time where that potential comes to pass. That potential bears fruit. So, and things bear fruit in a place of maturity. The seed has full maturity, not when it's put in the ground, not when it's sitting there in a dark place, but the seed develops and it achieves full maturity when it bears fruit. So maybe the reason why people are not fruitful is not because you're barren, it's because you're immature. Because again, these immature traits will ruin your marriage. Guys, I want to say this to you, and I'm done. I want you to understand this. Marriage does not fix your issues. Marriage magnifies your issues. Whatever issues you have, fix it now. Fix it now. Because it won't get better in marriage. So if you see a lack of maturity, and I'm not talking about age, because you could date somebody that's 54 but that's still immature. You could date a girl who's 47 but has the mind of a 17-year-old. So age does not reflect maturity, but passion, goal, direction, communication, how they handle their emotional intelligence. These are things that are needed in order for you to have a successful relationship. Love is not enough. Good looks is not enough. It has to be a level of maturity. Don't date the immature. Don't date those who cannot express themselves and communicate. Immaturity. Those who have a low emotional intelligence. Lack of maturity. So we got to make sure that we understand as Christians that these things are going to come, because as a believer, you're going to be attacked. And the mature have the ability to handle that attack. So these are a few things I want to share with you guys. These 5 red flags in a Christian relationship. Did I miss something? What do you think? Am I stupid? Am I being unreasonable? Let me know what you think. Give me some feedback. Please make sure you like, share, subscribe, download, all that good stuff. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. God bless you. I love you. Peace.